not to force us, but for our benefit. He said, it's a day of rest. And you're not supposed to be doing anything. Don't do ministry even. What? Jesus, who gave that law to people, who is God himself, broke the law, worked on Sabbath, healed this person. It became a big problem among the Jewish community because he just broke the law. Look at him, he broke the law. He can't be a Messiah. No. If he's God, he would not have broken his law on his own law. If you break a law, by the way, you're punished. You get excommunicated. If you break Sabbath, it's a serious, serious offense. If you do that multiple times, you can die. You can be stoned to death. In fact, this and other things became an issue, and that was like the legal accusations by which he died. So at the risk of his life, Jesus heals a person breaking his own law. He broke the law at the Samaritan well, to meet the woman at the well. He breaks his own law because love is more important. Because he wrote all his law in order to help you and me to love God and to love our neighbors. That's the whole purpose of the laws. And some people misunderstood. You know what? God's law needs to be just kept literally. But they did not care about their heart. They did not care about loving God. They did not really focus on loving others. But they just tried to keep the law themselves. And therefore accusing Jesus for healing a person on a Sabbath day. And you're not supposed to. It is true, you're not supposed to heal a person. But you know what? Why did he break the law? Because he loved him. Like, I can't wait till Monday in order to heal him because he's been there, lying there for 30 years. Because I want him to be well. Because I came to preach the good news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, to set the captive free, to heal the sick. I want to show you, even on the Sabbath, I heal. Because you know what? Father God, he doesn't rest. He doesn't rest. Why? He's restless until he sees his kingdom come on earth, like the cycle of evil Adam and Eve had brought into this world, until it's completely reversed, like God cannot rest. He wants to see the restoration of that love relationship. He wants to see all the darkness get out. He wants to see his love and justice and mercy and righteousness and holiness be fully manifested on this earth. He's not resting. And therefore, Jesus is saying, as God himself and Son of God, I'm not resting because he's not resting. That was his argument. So, I want to just give you a moment to kind of look back at yourself. Is there anything, any issue, anything in your life that has been there for a long time and it looks impossible? It looks hopeless. Why don't we take this time? I know that many of you did not accept Jesus as Lord and Savior. I still want to pray for you. Okay? So I'll give you just 10 seconds to bring the issue. You don't have to talk it aloud. Okay? You just bring it to God, and I'll pray for you. Close our eyes. Holy Father, we thank you so much for this time of meeting you through the passage. Your word is true. Your word is active and alive, piercing through our thoughts and minds, bones and marrows, transforming us according to your image. Father God, we ask you that you will speak to each one of us right now. And we lift up our issues that have been old, there for a long time. And people say that it's helpless, and people say that no one can help us. Lord, the door has been closed for a long time, and it's getting worse. I don't know what to do. Hope is pretty low. So, Father God, I lift up each person's issue in your hands that they're thinking right now. Because you are the healer, you are the one who brings great reversal. You're the one who can bring a complete change, a complete turnaround for each one of us. So, Lord, just like you healed each person, that man, the paralyzed man, paralytic, at Bethesda, I ask you that you will bring a change, a breakthrough in each person's life right now. Help us meet you at the sheep gate where the pool is. So the pool itself, although it had healing power, the paralytic was not healed at the pool, but rather he was not able to be healed by the pool because he had no friends. He was healed by your hands. So ironic. Lord God, we bring our issues to you, minister to each one of us heart. And Father God, I ask you that you will help us see that you work through us. You work in those situations through this prayer. We want to see you as a person who brings good news to the poor, binds the broken heart, sets the captives free. And thank you for being our God. Or if there's any testimonies, let us share with each other so that we will know that you are mighty, that you are the one true God. Whether it be physical, financial, relational, status issues, maybe psychological issues, any kind of issues that we have that have been there for a long time and we can't get help from other people. We know that you can bring changes. We thank you, Lord, for your kingdom, your blessings, and being the life and resurrection, living water, bread from heaven, hope and salvation for the believers. We thank you and Christ in faith. And we're going to continue. All right. So Vincent, on page 29, can you please read John 19 for us? So we're talking about the Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah being fulfilled by Jesus. So I laid out a few examples. Vincent?
Prepared and fastened to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
It read Jesus of
Nazareth.
Nazareth, the king of the Jews.
Uh-huh.
Many of the Jews read the sign of the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in
Aramaic,
Latin, and the Greek. The chief priests of the Jews protest the Pilate. Do not write the king of the Jews, but that this man claimed to be king of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Pilate answered, what I have written.
Yeah, so this is right before Jesus was crucified. So they prepared all kinds of things for mockery, to mock him. One of the things that the priest, it's interesting that he was persecuted by his own people, especially the great priests, for breaking the laws, right? And so they told Pilate. Pilate was the one who actually passed the judgment, the crucifixion, and he made a sign. Jesus of Nazareth, well, Nazareth is where he was from, the king of the Jews. Isn't it interesting? Like, out of all the things that he could have said, like, this is the most evil person in, among the humanity, or something like that. This is the worst criminal. Like, don't be like him. No, he said, the King of the Jews. Wow. And then the priests protested to Pilate. No, don't say King of the Jews. He's not our king. Jesus is not our king. He's a criminal. You have to say, he claimed to be the King of the Jews. Why did you change the sign? But Pilate said, no. What I've written, I've written. So even through the hands of a person who killed Jesus, God was working to let us know that he is the king. Well, when he says King of the Jews, we're not talking about this particular tribe called Jews. Jews represent all the believers. So in Jesus' times, the Jews or the Israelites were the only chosen people. And through them came salvation because it was prophesied that way. But the thing is, after Jesus, because Jesus came to break the boundaries, to break the walls between Jews and Gentiles, non-Jews, like you and I are Gentiles. Okay, so Jews and non-Jews, male and female, free people, slaves. He broke the walls. He just, according to the Jewish laws, there were distinctions. And you couldn't even go to the temple. Like as Gentiles, we could not even come to the temple. We would be outside, or however, Jesus, when he died on the cross, he accomplished a lot of things. Not only salvation, but he made salvation available for everyone, including you and me. And therefore, when you see the word Jews, the Israelites, we're not talking about like a particular group of people, but it's referring to the believers. So you know what? Even through the hand of Pilate, it was confirmed that Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, he's a king. Right? John 20. Barry, can you please read for us?
This mention that gave that Jesus is the Son of God,
Right. John 20 is the last chapter of book of John, and he's stating the purpose of his writing. The reason I'm writing the book of John is so that you may know that Jesus is the Messiah, Son of God, and that you may believe. That was his purpose. Yeah. So there are other prophetic words regarding to the Messiah to come. So Jesus, the King of the Jews, that is not an Old Testament prophecy. It's just a situation where it was confirmed, right? But there are Old Testament prophecies about Messiah to come, and we'll kind of check it out. Carol, can you please read a Born of a Virgin?
Genesis 3, and I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offsprings and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel.
Yeah, so this is talking about, this is like right after Adam and Eve going against God, picking from the fruit, picking from the tree that we're not supposed to pick from. And they're basically, they're before God. They're trying to hide their sin, but they couldn't. And God says to Adam, the first man, what did you do? Where are you? What did you do? And Adam says, well, although he's the one who actually received the word first, he blames his wife, Eve. The woman that you gave me, she picked from the tree, and she gave the fruit to me. That's why I ate. And God is like, really? All right, Eve, let me hear your story. Like, why did you pick from the tree? And she goes like, that serpent. Remember? Satan was a fallen angel. He was one of the archangels. He rebelled against God. He and his subordinates. So 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven. They came into the garden. So Satan was was going around in the form of a snake, and he met Eve at the garden, right around the tree. Adam and Eve were walking down. They were walking past by they were walking past the tree all the time. But they were never interested. But that day, when Eve was passing by, because I don't know if her relationship with God was not very intimate. Maybe she was not paying attention, but she gave her attention to Satan, and so Satan deceived her. And so anyway, Satan means the one who opposes God. Now, because Eve decided to listen to Satan, not to God, she picked from the tree, and she ate, and she says to God, now, okay, so let me hear your story, Eve. What's your story? And Eve goes, that serpent deceived me, so I ate. Well, nobody makes us do anything to do that. We exercise our self-will to discern if it's true or not true, if it's good or not good, if this is something that is going to be beneficial to me, or it's going to lead me to destruction. Like, we make a decision, right? There are many choices in life, every day. What we do our time, what we do with our relationship, what we do with our money, like there are decisions to make. Eve made that decision, but she blamed it to the serpent. So then God was like, okay, so nobody is saying that they committed a sin. Nobody's repenting. Nobody's taking the responsibility. So what I'm going to do is this. Nobody's admitting sin, but because I'm the righteous God, like, because you sinned, you're going to have to go through this. Okay, so I'm not going to strike you down and make you die right now. That's mercy of God, not receiving the punishment. He said, okay, Adam, you're the one who is the head of the family. You heard my word directly. You were supposed to admonish Eve, keep her from eating from that tree, but you didn't do that. You just polluted. You did the same thing with her. So, from this point on, although you were in charge of this garden and whatever, he just had to do little things. Like, he didn't have to make too much effort. Like, he didn't have to sweat or toil. But he just had to do a little thing, and it would just prosper. Like, all the harvest would be plentiful. Like, the fruit will come out, and he only had to do a little bit of work to in the garden. But now, because of your sin, if you work on the ground, it'll produce not just the fruits and grains, but it'll produce like thistles, like the weeds and thistles. And you have to sweat. You have to work really hard in order to see the fruit, in order to see the harvest. The ground is cursed because of you. Now, Eve, I will increase your childbearing pain greatly. That's part of your punishment. And you will look at your husband. Your desire will be for your husband, and you will have to desire him all your life. Serpent, you came to deceive everyone, and therefore, well, maybe at that time he had legs and things like that. I don't know. You crawl around on your belly, and you look. By the way, I will put an enmity between you and the offspring of woman. So, meaning what? You will be an enemy with a man that comes out of a woman. And that man, you will strike his heel. A snake biting your heel. Okay? And the snake will step and crush your head. So which one is fatal? A snake biting you? Well, it can be fatal, like if you don't do anything about it, right? It's a minor wound, right? But when you crush the head of the serpent, what happens? He dies. So, what do you mean by man that comes out of a woman? A man is supposed to come out of both man and woman, right? There has to be a male and female to have a child. But what do you mean by a woman's son? He was talking about Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary will give birth to Jesus Christ, the Savior. Satan, you'll be an enemy with him. You will bite his heel. He will step over and crush your head. Meaning, Jesus' heel was bit by Satan at the cross. Satan, with his own wisdom, was very smart. He instigated all the Jews, like Jesus' own people, and especially high priests and Pharisees, to accuse him, to bring to death, the most heinous death on the cross. Satan was greatly delighted. He was like, I won the game. I killed the Messiah. Right? You know what? He didn't know that when Jesus was crucified, he paid for the sin of you and me, that we would be set free, that we will have access to heaven, that we will receive eternal life. We will be restored to that love relationship with God, that we will be called children of God again. And then, although Jesus died, he rose again from dead on the third day. It was prophesied about the Messiah. And Jesus himself actually told his disciples, you know what? I will die, but I will resurrect it. So don't be so sad and so scared when I die, because it'll look like a miserable death. Well, I will rise again because I'm the Son of God. That's one of the signs. When I rise again, everyone who stood up at the pulpit would actually rotate. They would take turns reading different passages. So it was by order. On that day, when he stood up in the synagogue to read to do public reading of the scripture for the people, he happened to read from Isaiah 61, which says, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me. He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor and bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim freedom for the captives." And so, when he read that, it was just by chance that he read that passage that day. And then he, put away the scroll in his head, this passage. And by the way, that passage was referring to the Messiah to come. It was a prophetic Old Testament passage referring to himself. And he told the people, today, this scripture has been fulfilled. So he was referring to the fact that I am the one who fulfilled this prophecy. Yes, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, obviously. And I came to preach the gospel to the poor and to bind up the brokenhearted. So he cares about the poor and the poor people in heart. We can be very rich but very empty in heart too, right? And I care about those people who are brokenhearted. When you're hurting, I care about you. And I came to give you peace and healing, is what he's saying. And then he also said to set the captives free. Well, we're not captives. Like, we're not conquered by any nations. We're not thrown into prison. What are you talking about? He's talking about the spiritual state. I think I showed you a video clip about this young man called Private Ryan. Right? And unless he's captive, unless he is captured by the enemy, you don't have to send somebody to rescue him, but he was, and so a troop was sent in his way. We're not the prisoner of war. We're not POWs, no. But do you know that we're living in a world that's fallen world because of Adam and Eve? And the moment we're born, because we're born into a sinful world, corrupt world, and because we carry the spiritual DNA of sinfulness, although we didn't do anything, we're already captured by the enemy. We're under his influence. And so somebody has to come and rescue us. And Jesus is saying, I came to set the captives free. Some of you might not even realize that you're captives, but you are. And by the way, I came to rescue you. And he also said that, let's turn to, I'm going to show you the entire passage of Isaiah 61 because we are talking about it. Morning, Gina. just start by reading this. Vincent, can you please read the first verse for us?
The spirit of the sovereign.
Yes. Sovereign.
Sovereign love is only just the love as anointed me. Army to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to fly out the broken heart, to proclaim freedom for the captive and the release from darkness for the prisoners. To proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of the vengeance
Yes.
of our God. To confront all who mourn and provide for those who
Grieve in silence. Yes. Oh, I forgot your name. Queen, what's your name? Carol. Carol, can you please continue reading verse 3 for us?
Battle on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of the spirit of despair. They will be called out of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the sake of his splendor.
Right. They will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated. They will renew the ruined cities that have been devastated for generations. Strangers will shepherd your flocks. Foreigners will work your fields and vineyards, and you will be called priests of the Lord, and you'll be named ministers of our God. You will feed on the wealth of nations, and in their riches you will boast. So basically, this is talking about a great reversal. Those people who are sick will be healed. Those people who are captives will be set free. Those people who are blind will receive sight. Those who are lame will walk. Those people who are sad will receive peace and joy. And if you're poor, you become rich. I'll just reverse the situation. I'll just completely reverse the situation, turn the situation around. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what Messiah came here for. And he said, reading this passage, he said, today, this passage was fulfilled. That I'm that person that this passage is talking about. So although he looked completely unattractive, and it was contrary to people's expectations. He did not have military skills. Okay, if you were to overthrow the Roman government and set the captives free, because the Israelites understood captivity very well, because they were captives before. I don't know about you, but my grandparents' generation, they were under Japanese colonial rule. So it was very oppressing. You know, people who could be, I'm not sure if your parents have experienced it, but, well, maybe your grandparents. It was very clear because they did a lot of things that to step on the people. They forbade people to speak their language. They had to speak in Japanese, and they had to change their names. You had to change your identity. Like, I'm a Japanese now. Like, I'm not Korean, right? And also, you were forced to. They would just come and just rob everything that you have. It could be like the harvest from the field. It could be, jewelry or like, any kind of thing that has value, like gold. They would just rob you. Like, they would just take away even the history books. Gather all the history books, burn them. And they made another person to write a fake history that Korea has been part of Japan and everything. And they were taught. The little children were taught the wrong history that had been made up by the Japanese. And so even today there is an influence. Like our history book is a little bit messed up because of their influence. And some people are trying to rediscover the truth. And they could just take you, okay, so you're standing and a Japanese soldier is passing, and you were supposed to like bow, but you kind of forgot because you were deep in thought. Oh, you're taken away, you're thrown into prison, and no prison. You could be just killed, stabbed right there. No justice, like no process, due process. You could just be stabbed, and a lot of women were taken away, and they were raped, and they were taken as sex slaves, and they died of diseases or from abuse. So when you're captives, when you're captives or when you are under colonial rule, you understand what oppression is. And the Israelites knew what oppression is because they were under a lot of rule by other countries, such as Egypt. They're enslaved in Egypt. We talked about the pyramid, like pyramids were made by Hebrew slaves who died. And they were under Persian rule. They were under, they were under attack by many other tribes. And then finally they were under Roman rule. And they were considered as non-citizens. They were slaves. These are less than human beings. And so then they were crying out to God, like, what are you doing, God? If you're a good God, please rescue us. But in the first place, they actually walked into that place themselves by disobeying God, by turning away from God. Remember Adam and Eve? They deliberately chose to eat from that tree, the very tree, like out of all the choices that they had. It's just that tree, just to test your obedience. If you really love me, and if you really trust me, if you really want to follow, this one tree you don't eat from. And they chose out of all the choices to eat from that tree. And so that's what the Israelites actually did. When God laid out very clearly, you do not have to have high level of education. You do not have to have special wisdom in order to understand God's will. God's will was very, very clear, very simple. Do this, you'll be blessed. Don't do that because you'll be cursed. However, the Israelites, out of their rebellious hearts, they went against God, and so then one of the things that would come as a curse, when you do this, then curses are going to come, so don't do it. One of the things is that you will be attacked by other countries, and you'll be under their rule. You'll be enslaved. That was very clear. And time after time, it was repeated. However, they never learned the lesson, and so they were under Roman rule again, and now they're crying out. But instead of Jesus saying, look what you did, you deserve this. No. He's got a compassion. And he says, I came to proclaim the good news to the poor, whether it's your financial poverty, or it could be your empty heart, you're poor in some way. I came to fill you up, to make you rich. Wealth. But even more importantly, your hearts will become rich. And you will not be empty anymore. Remember Samaritan woman? She was very empty. And she had a lifestyle of changing partners. She had 5 different partners. Because she wanted to fill that emptiness with something, she thought it was men. And she was still not satisfied. She knew that she was not satisfied. It was very symbolic that she brought her buckets out to the well when she was feeling empty in herself. She was thirsty for something with her mind. Her psyche was hungry for something. And now she comes out with buckets because she's physically also thirsty. Right? And Jesus says, I am the living water. If you knew who I was, you would ask for living water. That will make you never grow thirsty again. What he's saying is, I'm the living water that fills your heart. Of course, human beings always have to drink water until you die. We need physical water. So what Jesus is saying is, I am the living water that fills your spirit, fills your heart, so that you're not after other things that you're not supposed to be after. And they're not satisfied, first of all. Secondly, actually they're bad for you. Your lifestyle is leading you to the path of destruction. And look, your relationship with the villagers. They hate you. They look down upon you, and you don't even want to. Like you're afraid to go and talk to them. So don't live that lifestyle. I'm here. I know your desires. I know your need, and I'm here to satisfy you. And so Samaritan woman, she was so surprised. Well, first of all, he knew everything that she did. Number two, he says he's living water, and she already starts to feel that he is really ministering to her heart. That he's speaking to her heart, and she already feels peace. She already feels thankful. She already feels cared for and loved. Nobody wanted to talk to her, and he broke all the laws to talk to her. Know her need. I know you. And you're loved. The reason I came here, the reason I chose to come through Samaria today is to show you that I love you. And she felt very much loved. She was overjoyed when she found the Messiah, and she ran back to the village and told everyone, so everyone would come out and meet Jesus, and the entire village was saved. So Jesus says, I'm the living water. So the book of John has a lot of I am sayings. I think I talked about this either the first or second class. There are 7 I am sayings, or actually multiple I am sayings that Jesus makes. I'm the living water. I'm the bread from heaven. I'm the life and resurrection. He makes a lot of claims. The reason, but it's very interesting that he says, I am. Yes, he's introducing himself, so I am this and I am that. Of course it is. However, there's deeper meaning behind I am. Because when God showed himself to Moses, Moshe, the baby was drawn out of water in the Old Testament era. He was a Hebrew baby, and there was a great massacre that took place in the land of Egypt. The Pharaoh actually passed the edict saying, any boy who is 2 and under, Hebrew boys, because we feel threatened by the Hebrews. We are conquering them, but they're growing in number. They're becoming stronger and stronger, and we're afraid. And therefore, what we're going to do is kill them off. Because girls couldn't do much militarily. They couldn't revolt. And so kill all the guys, 2 years and under. So if you go to like pyramids, you can see like pictorial description of the historical event where all the Hebrew boys were wiped out. They were taken away from the mother's arms, and they were thrown into the Nile River where the alligators came and ate them up. And so when that was going on, Moses was born, and he was subject to that massacre. And but his mom was so wise, and she did something to keep him for 3 months. He grew up to be 3 months old, baby. He had a different look, and his mom just felt like, I can't keep up on this baby. And so when the baby became 3 months old, you can't keep up for too long because babies cry, people find out, take it away. So mom had to make a decision. She put him in a basket, woven basket, and covered him probably with a blanket, and kissed him goodbye, and put him on the Nile River. She sent him away. Because Nile River, there are alligators. There are animals all around. And so if it tosses, it flips, then the baby's gone. But she took the risk. She was a woman of prayers, I could tell. She sent him away, praying for him. Lord, rescue him if it's your will. And the prayers came through. It safely arrived at one point where Pharaoh's daughter was taking a bath. She would come out to a certain part of like the shallower part of Nile River, and she took a bath. And her servants were around there too, right? And she just saw, a basket. What is this? She picked it up and opened the basket. She already had a son, and that's the next king, Pharaoh. When she opened the basket, she saw a little baby. Oh, a Hebrew baby. She knew the law. He was supposed to be killed. But all of a sudden, she was just particular, and oh, you know what? I'm gonna adopt him as my son yet. And Moshe, or Moses, was saved, drawn from the water. And so that he grew up to be a prince, very much loved by the entire family, even his brother, the next king. The next king loved him so much that he wanted to pass his kingship to him. But you know what? When Moshe was growing up, he's probably seen a lot of things. Maybe he's seen the pictorial description of the history on the pyramids. What is this? Babies being killed? What is this? I know Hebrew. What are these people? And he's probably seen his people outside all the time. Although maybe he just felt like a different person. Like, I'm a prince, you know, I don't deal with the slaves. But you know what? The Hebrews, they're my people. They're being just tortured, and they're just worked to death, and they're mistreated. Like, there's some kind of discomfort right here. And he probably struggled through his, teenage years and all that. His mom was very wise, his biological mom. She was always watching, checking on him. In fact, she introduced herself through her daughter, Miriam, to be the nanny for Moshe. So she probably hid her identity. She probably didn't tell Moshe that I'm your mom. But as she was feeding him and singing lullabies and talking, because she's a babysitter, right? She probably told him a lot about his wives. You are a Hebrew boy. And you know what? Hebrews, which is equal to Israelites. Israelites have been called by God. They've been chosen by God to do God's work. You see those people out there? They're your people. God wants to rescue them. God wants so. You know what? You're the palace. Maybe you're here for a purpose. Maybe something like that. Maybe she says something. If she's a godly woman, and if she's inspired by the Holy Spirit, if she's inspired by God, she would have said things like that. And so Moshe grew up thinking, who am I? I'm an Egyptian prince. No, wait. I'm a Hebrew. Oh no, what am I? So he probably grew up with that. One day, he, as he saw, you know what? I'm a prince. What? I'm a Hebrew. I feel the blood of Hebrews calling me. I know now I'm a Hebrew. I gotta do something about this situation. So his sense of righteousness just rising from within. And when he saw his people, Hebrew slave, being tortured and mistreated, he just went down. He couldn't hold it anymore. He punched the guy, the Egyptian soldier that was mistreating Hebrew person. He fell and died. He didn't mean to kill him. He died. So wow, this is a major thing. A prince killing a person, like it's a murder. So he hurriedly buried him under the sand. You know what? People watched. There are some people saw, and then the word spread. The next day, as he was talking to another Egyptian, I guess, he said, well, just like you killed an Egyptian yesterday, are you going to kill me too? Whoa, the word spread really quickly. And so then Moshe knew, I got to run for my life. He ran for his life. He ran far away to a countryside named Midianite land. And it was just foreigners' land. Nobody knew him. He didn't know anybody. And he met a beautiful girl there. He got married and had children. And he started tending the sheep. He became a sheep shepherd boy. Shepherd. You know what? He did that for several decades. And he became like 80. He became so old. And then you become like 80, like, what do? You see a lot of 80 people in their 80s, like, being active, Do they run around? Do they join the military? Does any military accept an 80-year-old man? Not really. Are they needed by anybody? No. They're not considered as productive members of society anymore. So he is virtually useless, right? By the societal standard. And one day he is tending his sheep, is taking the sheep to the pasture to let them get their feed, take them to the water, and he was just doing the routine thing, and he completely forgot about his background. What is palace? Never been there for 4 decades. Well, you know what? This is my family. These are my kids. These are my sheep. My heart is here. I forgot completely who I was, and maybe he deliberately wanted to forget because he killed someone. He didn't want to remember anymore, right? And he lived a very, very different life right there. When he felt some kind of voice. What is this? So he started approaching this place, I don't know, like a kind of private place. There was a little bush, and the bush was burning. It was really strange because when a tree starts burning, it burns down pretty quickly, and especially when it's dry, like the land of Israel, it's pretty dry there, right? Well, not during the summer, but in the desert. So then it should burn down pretty soon, but why is it burning? Why does it keep burning? Like the fire's there, but it's not burning. And then he heard a voice, Moshe. And he's like, who's calling me? And God says, I am Yahweh. Who are you, Lord? I am who I am. I am who I am. What does that? That means I exist by myself. Everyone has a cause. We were caused by our parents. We came into existence by God's will. I pulled this chair. I caused it to move. Yeah. We are standing on the ground instead of floating around because of the gravity. There's reason behind everything. But you know what? God does not have a reason. He doesn't have a cause. He himself is the cause of all good things. He's the origin. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end. And he goes, I am. I am God. And I am. And God gives him a command. Moshe, go back to the Pharaoh, your brother. Your people are crying out for help. They're under oppression. They're being enslaved. I'm here for 40 years. I forgot the language. I don't know how to speak. I am a person with ineloquent lips. I don't know how to speak. I'm kind of old. You see that? I can't go. God is like, all right. I am God who made you should. I'm not telling you to do the job. You just obey. I will empower you. I work through you. There you go. Moshe said, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to, I don't know, why does it have to be me? Pick someone else. We did that several times, but God was finally, he was not enraged, but he was pretty upset. Moshe, didn't I tell you that I am God? If you trust that I'm God, you go. You just need to obey and say, yes, I'll do the job. And by the way, if you're afraid of speaking in public, I'll send your brother, why don't you go with your brother Aaron? He will speak for you. And so Moshe finally goes to the Pharaoh. And long story short, he rescues all the Israelites by the power of God. And so they're all freed now. So God set the captives free. So when God was calling Moshe, he introduced himself as I am. Moshe even said, Pharaoh will not believe I'm his younger brother. He saw me grow up, And he's going to question, like, who are you that I have to release your people? Who should I say that has sent me? Like, how should I introduce you to Pharaoh? And God says, tell them. Oh, and he's like, my people, the heroes, they're not going to follow me. Like, they're going to say, like, who are you? Like, you haven't been in this community for 40 years, and all of a sudden you show up and you say that God has sent you, and who's your God? Okay? Then what am I going to say? And God says, tell them, I am has sent you. I am has sent you, and don't believe me. So that I am is very important from the get-go, from a long time ago. God introduces himself as I am, and Jesus introduced himself before the people as I am. I am the living water. I am the bread from heaven. I am the life and resurrection. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. When he says I am, he's claiming I am God. I am God Yahweh. That you have been knowing. I'm the human representative, like human representation. I'm the incarnate God. I chose to come here as one of you because I wanted to communicate to you that I love you. And because I need to shed blood for you as a sacrifice for your sin, to become your ransom. That's why I came. I'm the Messiah. So, book of John, we talked about the fact that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, they have slightly different perspectives, although they watch the same thing. And the book of John, the beloved disciple, was very much loved by Jesus. He saw Jesus as divine, and certainly God himself. So he emphasized those aspects, that God is divine. And one of the things is that was that he included all the I am statements. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Right now we want to talk about John 6 a little bit because John 6 a little bit because this gives us a little bit of taste, like it gives an idea about how Jesus' thinking was very different from other people, how he did not fulfill the expectations of the public, but rather he fulfilled the prophecies. Okay, so John 6, Barry, can you please read it for us? On page 28. Barry.
Oh, I'm sorry. The minute God had not preached, he said to his disciples, just the Jesus says, and I see him be roasted. Yesterday and the church walk pastor with the piece of palm, following well, let go of others to a hand.
Continue.
After people saw the Son, Jesus probably came to say, truly this is the growth of faith, who is become to be the word, Jesus knowing that he would continue to come and then in the kingdom of God. Before then, we want to have this result.
So, John 6 begins with this. And you turn it on again. Wherever Jesus went, great crowd followed because they saw him healing the sick. Will you be interested in someone, like if someone comes and wherever he goes, like lame start walking, blind receive sight, people are being healed left and right? Would you be interested in that person? It will intrigue you, right? And so because Jesus was healing everyone, he was followed by a large crowd. And by the way, he was followed by a lot of crowd this day too. When a great crowd followed, Jesus was compassionate toward them. because they followed Jesus everywhere, but then they forgot to eat. They didn't have anything to eat. They didn't pack their own lunch or anything like that because they were not expecting anything like that. They just came out and then they just, they were just so interested in what they were seeing and what they were hearing from Jesus. They forgot to eat. And now it was getting close to like the evening and everyone had to eat. But you know what? There were 5,000 men. When I say a large crowd, I'm talking about a large crowd. So 5,000 men means what? So according to Jewish custom, they only counted the heads of the men. But this means there were at least 7,000 more people, were women and children. So counting women and children, it would have been like 12,000. Yeah. And so it was a large crowd. And so Jesus is saying, where shall we buy bread for these people to eat? He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. So he was asking his disciple Philip, look at these 12,000 people. How are you going to feed them? They're hungry. And Philip goes, it will take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. So if each one were to have like a small bite of bread, it'll take like half a year's of wage we don't have that money. Jesus was not working full-time. His disciples were not working full-time. They were just going from village to village to heal people, to minister to people, to pray for them, to preach the gospel. So then where should we get this? It's impossible. And then at that time, something interesting happened. Andrew comes. Andrew's another disciple. He says, here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves. 5 loaves. And 2 small fish. 2 little fish. That was his lunch. His mom had packed in lunch. Now, the boy, interestingly, offered that to Jesus. Isn't it cute? Like, have you ever seen a little kid? Like, you're trying to say, say, treat all the guests. Like, I don't know, like 100 guests came over. And, a little girl is trying to help you. Okay, I'll help you. And then she brings out her toys, like toy cups and toy dishes. She's like, okay, let me help you treat the guests. It's really cute. But that's not really helpful, is it? The boy comes with his lunchbox and he says, I want to help, feeding the 12,000 people 5 loaves of barley bread and 2 fish. That's not going to be really helpful, is it? So, but then Jesus did not say, that's cute, but it's not going to help. No, he said, let the people sit down. There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. About 5,000 men were there. Yeah. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks to God. Thank you for this bread. He broke the bread, and he told the disciples, okay, now pass them out. So 5 loaves, that's just his lunch, a little boy's lunch. It's not a whole lot. So they started distributing. So they would take, one person will take a little bit, the next person will take a little bit. That was the custom of those times. So after everything was distributed, there were leftovers. So as they broke bread and passed it on to the next person, it was not decreasing, I guess, right? 12,000 people were all, like they had their portion of fish and barley loaves. And then after that, they gathered the leftover, and there were 12 baskets. It's more than one lunchbox that began. It was an increase. This is like unbelievable, right? Then the crowd, because they were fed and they saw this miracle with their own eyes. Wow, let's make him a king. Okay, before that, because there was nothing desirable about him, they said, well, isn't it a carpenter's son? Like, he's from Nazareth. Like, what? It is possible Messiah? No, we don't believe it. But they turned around and said, whoa, he's feeding 12,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And we have left over 12 baskets full. Let's make him a king. He's going to at least feed us. He's a miracle maker. He's powerful, so let's make him a king. So when they say let's make him a king, a real king, like the emperor, Roman emperor. And so they tried to force him to be a king. But you know what? At that time, Jesus withdrew himself. He went away somewhere to himself. Why? Because the Messiah, the rescuer, cannot accomplish his purpose by becoming an earthly king, by overthrowing the empire. No, that's not how he can do his job. What he can do, how he can rescue all of his people and the people after, like you and me, 2,000 years after. He had to lay down his life. He had to die on the cross, shed his blood. That was the only way that he rescued people. And therefore, he refused to become an earthly king. So he withdrew himself and went away somewhere. People couldn't find him anymore. That gives us a picture of how he looks like. He was very purposeful. He knew who he was, and he knew how to accomplish his purpose. And he resisted all the temptations. Like, wouldn't you be tempted? Like, people start looking up to you, they follow you, and they're like, you're so great, you're so awesome. Please take care of us who will follow you. There's a temptation. Many leaders are tempted and they fall because they initially they had the right thing in mind, but then later on it can change because this is kind of attractive. Oh, I've never heard people saying like you're so awesome. Oh, you're a charismatic leader. Like we trust you. Never heard that. Oh, this is so like great. Doesn't it happen to like celebrities too? Maybe, I heard some of the stories where they kind of had a humble background, nobody, right? And then at one moment, this person like just picks up popularity and people start liking him or whatever because the movie was a hit or something like that, right? A song was a hit. And then all of a sudden this person becomes somebody, right? And then people start like sending him like, I don't know, love letters and, post something on social media, and he's on the newspaper, and everybody likes him, and I don't know, when this guy sings, and people just crowd, and people want his sweaty handkerchief, all right? You're smiling because you know about this, right? You guys know about this. But all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I'm somebody. I'm an important person. Oh, I'm very much liked. I'm a great person. And all of a sudden this person can be very proud and starts to act snobbish, and look down upon other people. Maybe he starts abandoning other friends. When I was a humble person, I had these friends, and we had the relationship, but I'm different than you now. Like, I can't make friends with you, like it's embarrassing. I'm going to make friends with these people who are kind of, I don't know, of status, whatever. Well, then everything. So they start changing sometimes, right? Not everybody. I'm talking about like, majority of people, right? And then, anyway, I'm just illustrating my point. So these are their old friends, and then make friends with new people. But however, these people are interested in your fame. They're not truly caring about you. They will not take care of you. They're not going to help you. One day you come to the brute realization you're so lonely. Oh, I lost all my real friends. You know what? Well, at one point, these people prove not to be faithful. Oh, once I lose my reputation just a little bit, they will go away. They're fair weather friends. And then the brute reality hits you, and you're like, oh, you made your mistake. Anyway, so these things can happen. Like, I've heard stories about this. followers, they try to keep it up. They're taking drugs. You know what? Why are they so on drugs? Why do you think so? Well, part of it is pressure. You know that? Great pressure. Because they have to play God. They're not God, right? And so drugs mess them up. Mess their families up, maybe. And one day you come to realize, oh, you know what? I was nobody from the beginning. I was deceived. But anyway, so Jesus probably had that temptation because he was very much liked. Everyone on Facebook said, like. Tons of followers on Twitter. And people are saying so many positive things. And you're so awesome, and you're so great, and we need you, and everything. You know what? Jesus said, no. I came to lay down my life. I don't need fame. I don't need wealth. I don't need your recognition. I came here so that I could sacrifice myself as a ransom for me. You know, a kernel, a little seed. I haven't done farming, but if you've ever done anything like that, so if you see like fruit, so the farmers would gather all the harvest, and then say they gather all the rice, okay, the grains. But the best grains they save. They don't eat it. They don't toss it. No, they don't sell it. No, they keep it for the next year. The best seeds, you keep them. Because the best seeds are supposed to be sown, and then they have to produce fruit next year. And these kernels, by the way, in order to produce 100-fold, they need to be sacrificed. They have to die in the ground. Jesus utilized that metaphor, parable, and he said, a kernel has to be dropped on the ground and has to die in order to bear fruit. You know what? I came here. I'm God. I don't need followers. I'm so confident about myself, like I know who I am. But you know what? I came down at your level to die for you, so that many fruit will be born. Meaning, you, all of you, now and forever, like now and till the end of the time, all my creation will have access to eternal life. I'm not afraid that I lay down my life. Because when I look at the final product of it, like I'm so happy. I'm not afraid of dying on the cross as a sinner, because the cross is for sinners. No righteous person dies on the cross. The cross was reserved for those people who are helplessly evil, and the society, the entire society has to watch this, that a heinous, evil, criminal deserves this kind of punishment. And so you guys watch and don't do this ever again. He died that shameful death as a sinner. By the way, there were a couple of options. He was standing, and then there was a murderer. He's not only a murderer, he's a robber. This person called Barabbas, he has done so many things. Like when people look at him, it's like, there's a spirit of darkness. That's Satan himself. He was supposed to be crucified. He deserved that by human standards. But you know what? Jesus took his place. When Jesus died for you and me, it was not just for you and me. While he was sacrificed for you and me, he also saved this worthless guy called Barabbas. He took his place. Because these people who are hard-hearted, they said, let go of Barabbas, crucify Jesus. So Jesus is the king. He's a different king. Jesus is a rescuer, but contrary to public expectations. He's so counterintuitive and countercultural. This does not make sense. But you know what? That was God's wisdom. It's foolishness to those who are perishing, but it's God's great wisdom for those who are being saved. So when I first became a Christian, my dad, because I come from a non-Christian family, right? My dad was like, this is first thing that came out of his mouth. Because he knows the history pretty well, world history pretty well. You know, he's a Renaissance man. He is highly educated and he loves history. And so he knew about Jesus. He told me this. So you want to follow Jesus who lived a miserable life? He told me this. He lived a miserable life, Joanne. And you know what? He was considered as a rebel. And he was crucified. His followers, they were all beheaded. They were burned to death. You want to follow that footstep? That was the first thing that came out of his mouth. He knew. Even as an unbeliever, he knew what kind of path Jesus walked. He had a feeling like if you follow Jesus, like your life is going to be miserable too. But by the way, it's not true. His disciples, yes, they all died. But you know what? They died happily. They chose that when they could have run away. With God, there's joy. With God, there's life. With God, there's true satisfaction. And by the way, that's the only option that we have. We sometimes ask ourselves, like, you know what? Because there are different ways to get to the truth and to eternal life, maybe nirvana. But you know what? Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That looks like a very parochial, kind of hard statement. Like, are you narrow-minded? You're the only person that can go through in order to reach eternal life? I don't understand. I was there too. But you know what? It was one God moment. Like, not one God moment, it was a process. But there were God moments. Aha moments. When I encountered God. Whoa, He is my Lord. He is my Creator. Oh, He's the one who has a purpose for my life. And you know what? He wants the good for me. He doesn't want a miserable life for me. No.